Shares of Digital World Acquisition, that's a SPAC, closed up yesterday more than 350%. The name doesn't sound familiar. You might recognize it now as the Trump SPAC. It was announced on Wednesday night. The stock soaring again in the pre-market this morning. Take a look at the chart. It was the most active in trading yesterday on the Fidelity platform. 470 million shares trading hands. You can look at it right now. It's up about another 50%, 68.50. Joining us right now to tell us what it all means, Dan Primack, Axios business editor. He's the author of the daily Axios Pro Rata newsletter. Good morning to you, Dan. Kind of incredible. To see what's happened to this stock. It's a company that effectively doesn't exist. It's an idea, a dream of sorts, potentially for the former president and others, to create a new social media company. But how do you get to this valuation?
Oh, you don't. I mean, I think, aren't we kind of past this point of believing that stock prices completely, relate to the underlying asset? Remember, this isn't just a dream and a pre-commercial product like we've seen with other SPACs, flying taxi companies, et cetera. This is something that hasn't even identified who the CEO is going to be, let alone the CFO, let alone is there a head of engineering, because this is a tech platform, and who that person is. We know less about this than almost any other SPAC. For example, WeWork went public yesterday, but when WeWork announced its SPAC, I think it was on March 26th, they came out with a press release, and then there was a prospectus and an investor deck, which kind of laid out everything about WeWork. In this case, we have nothing from this SPAC in terms of the underlying business except for a press release.
But doesn't that just mean this is a great speculation? It's a speculation by investors that potentially they will one day create a social media company of some sort that competes with the likes of Twitter and Facebook, and maybe doesn't have the same kind of restrictions, which is arguably the benefit, if you will, of what they say they're trying to create for their audience.
Except for yes, but the problem with that is a couple things. One, we do know that is hard to do. Andrew, you're a really smart guy. I don't know if you would be the best guy, and I don't think I would be, to create a social media company in terms of being able to hire the right people or have the technical know-how. And the other thing is, this is clearly going to be very partisan, kind of led by the personality and chaired by Donald Trump, who is running for president. And you can kind of see all the FEC problems that are already facing this thing probably right when it launches.
So who do you think is betting on this? I was going to say, I did a little bit of reporting yesterday. Interestingly, Boaz Weinstein, who has the $3.5 billion fund, actually had invested in Digital World originally, not knowing, of course, who was going to be the acquisition target, sold when he heard the news. And I wonder whether actually you think other major hedge funds and other large institutional investors will sell simply because they don't want to be connected to something like this.
I mean, I could see that. I obviously don't know who's buying it. I mean, the speculation would be that this is the ultimate kind of retail investor trade, basically a Trump fan trade, right? If you like Donald Trump, if you want to be kind of in the Trump business, this is a good place to be. I will say one thing that's notable about the sponsor of the SPAC. I think this is his fourth SPAC. He has yet to get one over the finish line. Again, this is different. It is Trump, but he did have one deal with a company called Giga Energy that was ready to go, and it got knocked down. Also notable that the SPAC that was going to buy Giga by this guy was based in Wuhan, China, and there's just a little bit of irony of Donald Trump hooking up there.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many emails I'm sure you did too yesterday from folks on the street just sending around the backstory or background on who these folks were that put this thing together, with the Wuhan, China headquarters, or at least where they're based, being one of those items. Dan, it's great to see you.